It's the 76ers, and they're doing business on the road in this interconference NBA matchup. This is Kevin Harlan here to call the action. With me, Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. And a look here at the 76ers starting group presented by State Farm. Iggy and Brand are the forwards. Hawes rounds up the front court. Drew Holiday and Evan Turner in the backcourt. And for Memphis, Mike Conley and Tony Allen at the 1 and 2. Marc Gasol is out there with Maurice Spates. And it's Gay in at the small forward. Clock at 6. Here's Holiday. And the layup is good. Holiday's got the first points up on the board here for the 76ers.
Guys, you look at how Philly did against the West last year, and they were able to hold their own against the toughest conference of the two.
Deflects the pass. Leaps for it. Out of bounds. And they'll keep possession. O.J. Mayo is checked in for Mike Conley. Here's Mayo. Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
A bit ago, Doug Collins and I were able to chat. If what he told me was right, we're in for a rugged battle here. He said we are going to put everything we have into our defense, and I mean everything. If that means overly physical play, that's what we're prepared to do. He sounds pretty serious, gentlemen.
Thanks, Doris. Well, guys, give us your thoughts on that.
Well, you know what? I think the game plan for a lot of teams, really good teams, starts with good D. So it's pretty much what I expected to hear.
And for this club, that's the way it should be. I mean, they need to send a message defensively right away. When you take it to your opponents on the defensive end of the floor, it sets the tone early. And this is why you need size inside, the ability to contest shots and force misses.
Steve, that's exactly right. Even when you get in close, it's still a tough shot.
Thought Rudy Gay signed that big contract extension prior to last season, and I thought he came out and he earned it. You know, despite some injuries during the year, he really had an excellent season. He's a guy who's very explosive and can get his own shot at any time.
Iguodala no good. 76ers on D. 5 on 4. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. And Clark, Rudy Gay going back to last season, really making strides. His defense, his decision-making, his passing. I see a player who has really expanded his game.
I agree. A young player that probably benefited greatly from his experience with Team USA in the World Championship. Being around those kind of players in that kind of environment under that type of pressure and scrutiny has a way of sharpening up what you bring to the table.
Spades dishes to Allen. Now the 76ers with it. They trail by 1. Iguodala outside. Over Gay. Another miss by Iguodala.
I tell you, the D was really lacking. Oh! Boy, that's a dunk you will not see very often. You won't pass that one by.
No doubt about that.
I wish he would, though. You can never see too many of those.
Gay picks him up defensively. Shoots a fader. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Guys, I don't think there's any question about it. It was the best season in Grizzlies franchise history last season. I mean, a team that was 0-12 in the playoffs, had never won a playoff game, upsets the top-seeded Spurs in really convincing fashion. It was clear they were a really difficult matchup for San Antonio.
Well, the Grizzlies, Clark, took the Thunder all the way to 7 games. This is a team that won 46 games in the regular season, and then all of a sudden they look like one of the best teams, Steve, in the West.
Yeah, what an amazing turnaround, Kevin. And they did all that without arguably their best player in Rudy Gay. But what I like best about Memphis is that they really established an identity. They pounded you inside. They really hustled defensively, and they were going to outwork you. And I think that was the key in their playoff run.
Now here is Holiday, following the shot by Rudy Gay. And Turner kicks to Brand. Shot clock at 6. Lets a floater go. Shot's good by Iguodala. We've got 1:48 left to play in the first. Holiday against Mayo. Gasol passes to Mayo. Puts the lead pass in front of him. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. It's on Spencer Hawes.
Boy, it had to be difficult for Rudy Gay to sit out the playoffs last year. Had such a good regular season. And then to not be able to help his club out in the postseason had to be very frustrating for him.
And Steve, you mentioned Rudy Gay missing the playoffs last season. He suffered a partially dislocated shoulder, Clark, right before the All-Star break.
And Gay is a guy who never had a chance to play in the playoffs before, Kevin, so that had to be tough. I think it'll certainly motivate him, though, to get back there this season, this time with him leading the way.
Picked up by Turner. Gay outside. And that one's on target from the wing. Gay's got 6 points.
He's got so many ways to hurt you. I mean, he is really an offensive force out there.
Tries for the alley-oop. It's tipped. Gasol with the steal.
The opening was there for a split second, but he didn't get it there in time.
Gay against Iguodala. Gasol with the steal.
So a couple of poor possessions now in a row consecutively. Both times turnovers. That's not productive basketball. That's not winning basketball.
No, Clark, you know, you start stringing errors back to back together, you lose all momentum in this game.
Here's Mayo. Guarded by Holiday. It's blocked. Out of bounds. And they'll keep possession. $20 left to play in the first quarter.
They've got a narrow edge here in rebounding early on. You wonder how much that'll play going forward.
Well, I like the way they've set the tone. You know, they're going to have to continue to work at it, but rebounds will be key in this game, no question about it.
Now here's Iguodala. 2 on the clock. No luck.
Tell you what, credit the defense there. They really contested that layup.
It's a tie game in Memphis. Live from the FedEx Forum, you're watching. Well, it's been a tight one so far as we get the second quarter going back here. And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor, all fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. Taking a look at the 76ers. Iggy and Brand are the forwards. Hawes rounds up the front court. Drew Holiday and Evan Turner in the backcourt. Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Well, for Doug Collins, he is no stranger to the NBA, having spent almost 4 decades in the league. He's seen a lot of ups and downs and says, I've always felt that the measure of the man is really not how you deal with success, but how you handle those failures and where you go from that and how you grow. I don't know of a man that's ever walked back to his hotel and questioned himself after he's been successful. That's for sure, guys.
Thanks as always, Doris. Doug Collins certainly has seen it all in his time here.
Yeah, no question about that. 4 decades in this league. You know he's got a pretty good perspective on the roller coaster ride of the NBA.
Well, I really like the progress the Grizzlies made last season. Even though they made great progress, I think they actually took a step backwards as far as their record against the East. I mean, only 16-14 versus 18-12 the season prior. But they got going at the right time, right before the playoffs.
Now here's Mayo. He's got 6. And the ball travels out of bounds. Turnover.
Just a lapse in focus there because that looked to be a pretty easy pass to make.
The 76ers leading. Interesting numbers, Clark, when you look at the Grizzlies. You know, Steve, do you think there's anything about the East in particular that gives them more trouble than the Western Conference?
I think it's pretty random.
Sledgehammer!
That should be illegal, Kevin. A superb alley-oop there. Prime time play.
Well, they had that one standing by, just waiting to pull it out.
Yeah, there's definitely a sense of understanding between those 2 teammates, that's for sure.
Holiday dish.
That is a terrific play. You hear me? A terrific play. I call that a room service dime because all he had to do was catch and finish.
Mayo kicks to Allen. And the bucket counts, and he's on his way to the free throw line. Try to make it a three-point play.
Well, the shots are starting to fall a little bit more than they did in the first quarter.
Yeah, they say it's not how you drive, it's how you arrive in golf. Well, a shaky start can be overcome because now they're starting to heat up.
And stolen by Spates.
Boy, good anticipation. A solid play to pick off that entry pass. Boy, he was being overly optimistic there, thinking he could make that pass.
Hawes hits the 15-footer. And the 76ers lead by 3. Here's Gay. Lifts up. And the layup is good. Gay's got 8.
Guys, that's what he does. I mean, he excelled at getting to the rim.
It was a tough year last season for O.J. Mayo. He was bumped from the starting lineup. He was suspended for a period of time and ended up on the bench for Memphis, but he did have some good games as a reserve, and he'll want to really build his career from here and get back into that starting rotation.
Good. That's 10 points for Iguodala.
You know, he's given them a nice scoring option through most of this game.
A 3 from Gay. Gets it to go. And that ties it up. Steve just talking about Mayo, Clark. It really was a roller coaster year for him.
Yeah, it was a lot of speed bumps, if you will, ups and downs, but a lot of different issues. Part of it, a young player adjusting to the demands of being a pro on and off the court. But there's clearly plenty of talent and a great foundation with Mayo to work with. A tight game here, and neither team has been able to gain an upper hand on the backboards.
Well, both teams really getting after it inside. It's been an interesting battle.
Gay kicks to Mayo. And it's Iguodala picking him up. Outside Gasol. Back to Mayo. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Memphis needs to get off a shot here. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
I really like the fact, guys, that Philly was able to battle their way back into the playoffs last season and just ended up running into a very focused and supremely talented Miami Heat team.
The 76ers making a switch right here. Williams is checked in. Back to that playoff series you were talking about, Clark. Philly gave it their best, but Miami just had too much power for them. They did win a game in Philadelphia on that Sunday afternoon. I think it was Easter Sunday, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Nice win for Doug Collins and those Sixers. But, Steve, this is just the beginning, I think, for the 76ers.
Yeah, I thought it was a great win for Philadelphia. Just winning that one game kind of validated what they accomplished during the regular season, and it sets the stage for what comes next.
And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
Kevin, one of the key evolutions for this team has been Mike Conley solidifying his hold on the starting point guard position in Memphis over the last couple of seasons. Coach Lionel Hollins said he's gotten better every year I've been here. He's stronger, more confident, and more aggressive. He's a solid, stable point guard. Every team can use one, guys.
You bet. Thank you, Doris.
You know, Mike Conley only played 1 year at Ohio State, so he's still a really young player. He's got time to get even better.
Michael Conley, he's checked in for Memphis. The 76ers also with the sub. Drew Holiday, he's checked in for Lou Williams. Back to Conley. The 3. And the whistle blows, and it's going to be an over-the-back call here.
Well, he was boxed out, nowhere to go, so poor choice in going over the back.
You said it exactly. He didn't have good position. Give up on the play, try to get the next one.
He's off on the first.
You know, even though Philly got bounced early by the Heat last year, you have to think it was a very valuable learning experience for that team, especially as young as they are.
Jody Meeks, he's checked in for Andre Iguodala. Here's Conley. 30 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. In low to Spates. Stolen by Brand.
He wasn't paying any attention.